Hi everyone, my name's Hillary and today I'm going to be discussing the proposal system with you. So you can find the proposal system under Event Management and it's the last option down here, Proposal Submission. So if you're creating a new request, you can select this Add New Request for Proposal button, or if you're just editing one you've already created, you can hit Edit Request and it takes you to the same screen. You can enter the request name and a description right here. And these show up on this page right here, which is the page before you begin entering information. So the name shows up right here, and if I were to enter a description, it would show up right here. You can choose whether you want this request to be standard, convention, or journal types. If you're selecting convention or journal options, additional options show up on the proposal list page. They don't affect this page, this setup page, so I'm going to discuss those in a different video. And I'm going to leave this on standard for this video. You can change the word proposals if you'd like I have. I've changed it to nominations. So if you're not requesting proposals, you can change it. And this will show up everywhere proposals normally appears in the system for submitters. So if you look over here, you can see submit new nominations. Normally that says submit new proposals. It does remain proposals even if you change it in here on the admin area. This admin email is the email address that you would like the notification emails to be sent to. If you have a beginning and end date, you can enter those right here, but they are not required. Now we start entering options for the separate pages of the submission process. So we start off with page 1. And so I will hit submit new nominations. You can include presenter page verbiage right up here. And this appears right here before you enter the information. You can choose if you would like to limit who's allowed to submit a proposal by changing this option, the primary presenter member status, from open to the public to must be a member or must be paid up. That will force them to log in. You can also limit it even further by limiting the co-presenters. You can either have it not checked so they can be non-members, or you can choose that they must be members or paid up, and that will be checked by entering their emails. If you don't call your presenters and co-presenters those, you can change the names that they're called right in here, and that'll change them right on this page, presenter and co-presenter. You can choose the maximum number of co-presenters that you would like to be allowed for a particular proposal. So on mine, it is set for 5. So if I scroll down, you can see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 possible sections to add a co-presenter. And if you select that, it'll open up all the fields. And then if you select it again, it'll hide it. You can choose if you would like your presenters and or co-presenters to be able to add their biography or credentials. You can select these by leaving these as show all, hide for presenters, hide for co-presenters, or hide for both. They have the same options. If you would like to change the name of credentials, which is this field right up here, if you would like to change the name of that, you can change that right in there. And that is the field that gets hidden if you choose to hide credentials. If you choose to hide the biography field, that hides this field right here. The next option is for co-presenter phone number mandatory. So that is if the submitter is including co-presenter information, this will force the phone number to be mandatory for the co-presenters. The next option is hide contact fields. So it has the same options as hide biography fields and hide credential fields. the show all, hide for co-presenters, hide for presenters, and hide for both. This selection will hide starting with the address field all the way down to fax, so it'll hide all those fields if you choose to hide it. Okay, we then move on to page 2 of the submission process. I just quick have to enter some information in here first. Okay, so when we move on to page 2, you can see that we are able to change the word topic and the phrase proposal type, which will change them up here as well as right here on this page. You can also choose to add in topic verbiage or proposal type verbiage, which shows up right here and right here, respectively. So you do have to select one of those unless only one is created for each of them, it will force the submitter to choose one. But if you only create one of each, it'll just bypass this page and skip right to the next page. So this page is set up on a different page, so I'm going to skip this for now. And we go down to page 4 of the submission process. So you can see on this page we have title, abstract, and text. And over here we have quite a few options for the abstract to start off with. So you can choose if you would like to hide the title and the abstract, so it'll hide both those fields. You can choose to make the abstract mandatory, which isn't going to have any effect if you've also selected this checkbox. You can choose the abstract word limit, and you can see that they are able to see how many words they have remaining. You can also change the word abstract, so if you'd like it to be called something else, you can change that and it'll change it right on there. And you can change the blurb if you'd like. So I've changed mine to just random abstract blurb version 2, and that changed it right where please provide an abstract for the conference program normally goes. So you have the exact same options for proposal text right here, so you can choose if you'd like to hide them, if you'd like to make it mandatory, set a word limit, rename it, or edit the blurb. So same options as with the abstract. The last 3 selections for this page are for file submission. So we have the option to have a mandatory file submission, so it'll force you to submit a file. There's this option to prevent file resubmission, so that only works with mandatory files. And there is the option to accept multiple file submissions. So right now I have accept multiple file submissions turned on, so that is what this box right here is for. If I turn this field on, this checkbox, there will be another box right here that forces you to upload a file. But I currently don't have that turned on. I can show you what that looks like though. So if we select that and to continue, refresh. And so now there's the other file submission, the mandatory one. And so you can clearly have them both turned on at the same time. And I'm going to deselect that. And you do have to enter a title, or it will make one for you. Okay. So we are done with the setup pages on this page of the proposal system setup. So I am going to skip to the next page so that we can focus on these inner pages. So we'll hop back to page 2 over here, the topic and proposal type selection, and hop forward on this page. So this next page is the setup for proposal types. So you can see I have type 1 and type 2, and I can add a new type, type 3. And you can add in a description, and you can see that you can make this proposal type, you can make the committee assignment by admin. So only admins would be able to assign this to reviewers. So submit. And when we refresh that, we can see that it is added, type 3, and the description is added. To edit the topics, I'm going to quick open up a new tab. So back out on this proposal list, you can see the topics and committee link right here. So if you select that, you can see I've set up topic 1 and topic 2, just like over here. And to create a new one, add new topic and committee. And we'll just give this page a second to load. If you're part of a larger organization, this page does take a little bit to load because each single one of these drop downs has your entire member list. So it can take a little bit, so don't be surprised. You can assign your chairs or committee members on this page as well. So this is manually assigning them. Don't worry if you have more chairs or more committee members than there are spots on this page. Like it says down here, every time if you fill it up, hit submit and come back into it, there will be always 1 more chair spot than you're using and 5 more committee member spots than you're using. So you can just keep adding them and keep adding them. There is also this set all topics, the same as this. So if you like your committee members and you want all of the topics to have the same committee members, you can select this and it'll set them all the same. You can also choose to add all members to committee. So if you want every single member in your organization to be on this committee, you can select this and it'll add it. And it'll add them. And hit submit. And when I refresh, you'll see topic 3 shows up and my description. So that is setting up that page. And like I said before, you do have to select one. The only time that you don't have to select one is, say I only have one topic that is set up. It'll actually just omit this entire section. And I can actually show you. So say type 3 is the only one that I want. Okay, so type 3 is the only one set. So this is the only one set right now. So when I refresh, proposal type just doesn't even show up because there's only one option for them to select. The same thing can happen with topics if you go in and only have one of these. So if you only have one of each, it will bypass this page and hop to the custom submission or custom fields page. So if I hit continue on the proposal type page, it will take me to custom submission fields page. So you can see I already have a few set up. I have one of each kind. So start with selection field. The names, so these first sections, are required for every field but the verbiage field. So I just named them what they are to keep it simple. You can also see that every single one except for the verbiage field has view restriction. So you can select if you want them to be visible to all. So the admins, the chairman, and the reviewers, or if you only want admins or only chairman and admins. So for the selection field, the minimum selection is automatically set to 0. If you leave minimum selection set to 0, that means it is a not required field. If you set it to 1, that forces your members to select at least one and makes it required. You can also, if you have your max selection set to 1, if you have your max selection set to 1, so we'll save changes and refresh, it'll actually make it a drop down. So you're only allowed to select 1, so it makes it a drop down for you. But if you change it to 2 and then save, you'll see it switches back to the checkboxes that I had before. Okay. To add options for this selection or multi-selection field, you can hit this little plus arrow right here and add an option. And option. And then you can save changes. And back to custom submission fields. So if you're ever wondering what you have set as your options, you can hover your mouse over the select options and it'll show you all the ones that you have set up. You'll also notice that each field has these little up and down arrows. Before you go and move these, so use either of these or the delete arrow or delete X or this add options, you'll want to come down here and hit save changes. Otherwise it won't save the changes that you've made in these boxes out here. So you want to make sure to do that. So the next kind of field is indicator field. It's just a little checkbox, so these are good for yes or no type answers. The multi-line comment field creates a big text box like this, so your submitter can enter longer answers, and you can choose to make this mandatory by selecting that box. There's also the short text field, which allows for answers up to 100 characters, which is this small box right here, and you can also make this mandatory right here. This verbiage field is if you need to give them instructions, you can enter those instructions right in here, and so it'll show up wherever you have it on the page. So it's just for additional information. We'll save the changes again just to be safe and continue. And that is all for the setup for the actual pages that your members go through when submitting. So this will be the end of our first video. I'll come back and do a second video about all of the other different settings that we have, okay? Have a great day.